honestly, going into the season, I did not think the Suns were going to be this good.
No, I didn't think they would be on record level.
Obviously, they've had injuries. During the regular season, injuries didn't even affect them at all.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing.
They were still the best team in the league.
They didn't have Chris Paul for like multiple weeks.
And they still
were
were the best team. And then now, it's a little different in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're struggling a little bit.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, no, so they're struggling with the Pelicans. But it's also the aspect of this player that's hurt now is Devin Booker.
That's the big one. He's the one that was carrying the team. He should be an MVP candidate.
Should be in that top 3.
He has the best team, and he was doing, not by himself, but if he didn't play on his team, there's no way they would win.
No way. No, because Chris Paul was out. It wasn't a fully healthy Suns team, right? I mean, so in the end, so now it's interesting because now can Chris Paul lead this team? He's probably to be honest, Aiden's probably the next scoring option, but now Chris Paul's going to have to step up.
He has to have the ball the entire game.
And this is Booker confirmed to be out for the rest of the series. 2 to 3 weeks, this series is over already in 1.
It's definitely going to be a little interesting because after this, New Orleans, I think they can pull through. But the next series, it might be a little bit of a struggle.
It's back to reality, man. Okay, let's be honest here. New Orleans isn't going to make a run. They're not the Hawks. They're not that deep of a team. Besides Brandon Ingram and C.J. McCollum, it's not too much there to be offered. Supporting cast players, yes, but even then, it's like lower tier supporting cast players. But do you have the Pelicans? Who do you have winning the series despite the injuries?
I think the Suns can still win the series.
That's what I have. But I have the Suns now.
I think now it's going to be a little bit of a stretch.
This series is going to drag out a lot.
Yeah.
I have the Suns probably, I almost want to say 6, but there's a part of me that thinks that this could go to 7.
I think this could go to 7.
I think this can go to 7. Pelicans can still give a fight, and it's the fact that it's Booker that's out. It's the fact that
anybody else don't really matter like that. We could push through.
Yeah, they would still probably win it. They probably would have won the last game if it wasn't Booker being out. That's the thing. So,
C.J. McCollum is kind of a great playoff performer.
He is. That's why I'm saying it's interesting. I think he will go 7, but I still have the Suns because there's no way. Right?
There ain't no way, right?
There's just no way.
No way the Suns are. The best team in the league don't make it past the first round.
Oh, only 14, like less than 20 losses in the season. There's no way. No, there's just no way. I can't get myself to
on the other side, there's the Mavericks, who don't have Luka Doncic and are still winning games.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about. You mentioned the Mavericks don't really have much, but come playoff time, it's where you find your stars.
And I was Jaylen Brunson? Who is that?
Bingo, Jaylen Brunson. Now, let me show you what he had in that first game. 40 points in that first game.
40 points.
And then 30 in the following. But it's not just that. It's the fact that they're beating... He's averaging 32 a game now in the playoffs. Probably the most... Almost the most in the...
He's probably the most.
Entire playoffs right now. But this is a healthy Utah team. This is a Utah Jazz team that last year was breaking records with their winning streaks.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert. I mean, they had it all. Bogdanovich. They had it.
Solid player right there, man.
They had it. 3-point shooting team. You have your star in Donovan Mitchell. What is happening?
So, we got to talk about the obvious, the memes that's been happening with Rudy Gobert. I think it's always been known that he can only play defense.
Mm-hmm.
He got no offense at all.
Yeah.
But in this series, I 100% know for a fact he cannot play offense at all. He literally has no bag. He ain't got no skills. On defense, he could swat the ball down. He could get steals.
Don't get it wrong. He's a great defensive player.
Great defensive player. On offense, I don't even want him near the ball. It's that bad.
Yeah, he can't post a guy down or do anything like that. Really, most of his scoring comes off of assists. Pick and rolls to be able to set up like a dunk or an easy dunk or an easy lay. But he's not a guy who's like Jokic, like Embiid, can work inside the paint, has a plethora of moves or anything of that sort.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't have that. Do you think that's the reason that's hurting them? Or what do you...
I think that it's the Mavericks winning. I think it's the Mavericks stepping up. But if Rudy Gobert, who's supposed to be their second star, could score a little bit, that would make a huge difference. Mm-hmm. But he can't score.
Yeah. My problem with is the fact that Dallas is just, they're pouring it on offensively. Utah's defense is not handling right now what the Mavericks are doing. Utah scored 118 in the last game. It would be safe to say on most occasions that wins you a basketball game.
That's a winning game.
And then Dallas scores 126. That can't be allowed. Mm-mm. And it's the fact that they're doing it all without Doncic that's so concerning for me. Because he's going to come back at some point.
Yeah,
he's not out for the series. He's not out for the playoffs.
I think he's going to be back in the next game.
You know, this is Mike Conley guarding Jaylen Brunson probably at the point guard position. Then you're letting Dinwiddie score 20. And Dinwiddie's actually good.
Dinwiddie is stepping up.
He's good. But, you know, Dorian Finney-Smith going double digits. Reggie Bullock scoring double digits. That can't be allowed. Kleber! You let Max Kleber score 17.
Who is Max Kleber?
Come on.
Who is Max Kleber?
Come on. So, it's just, defensively, Utah is truly getting exposed here. And this is, when you have one of the best defensive players in the league, that just can't be allowed. No, and it's happening off on the outside, really outside shooting right now.
And Utah has been known for the past couple of years for having a great defense. Mm-hmm. And sadly now, a team, but even with Luka, the Mavericks do not have that much offensive firepower.
No, this team probably would not have made the playoffs without Luka.
They probably wouldn't.
Truthfully.
They wouldn't even make a play-in tournament.
Truthfully, 82 games. Truthfully, I think they would have been like the Clippers of this year. Like how the Clippers made their runs without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Good enough to probably be the 9 or the 10. Maybe slip in as an 8 to be in those play-in games. But that's it.
That's about it.
That's about it. Doncic carries that team to a top team in the Western Conference. And Utah, this is embarrassing because you didn't just lose them, like you're not down 2-1 because you lost them both in Dallas. You won the first one in Dallas. You should have won the second one in Dallas because there still was no Doncic. Then you lose at home. I'm going to be quite honest with you. This series is over, in my opinion. I don't see Utah staying with Dallas. They're just obviously not as good of a team. They're not as good defensively as we expected them to be.
It's very possible.
And remember, the way Utah plays is dangerous. I've said this. There's so much like the Rockets of 2018. They live and die by the 3. Second that shot's not falling, you're done. Dead in the water. And it's going to happen at some point because you can't keep those shots falling.
I could very easily see the Mavericks taking this dub. And then even moving on to the next one.
Then you go against Phoenix. Exactly. So we'll talk about that situation, how we think it's going to.
And now let's bring up your squad.
Okay. This is what I expected.
It's not what I expected.
This is what I expected.
Going into the series, I thought Jokic was going to give a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. Gotta give credit to Draymond.
Yeah. This is what I expected. I mean, actually, I'm lying. It's actually more than what I expected. A little bit in a sense.
It's a lot more than what I expected.
And it's more so in the fact that Jordan Poole has truly become that third star. This is actually
I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. Are you ready to say Poole's better than Clay?
Yes.
That was quick. Okay. I mean, all right.
I'm sorry.
Truthfully, I'm not ready to say he's better than Clay because Clay has still impressed me with actually how good of a defender he is. He's still on our top defense. When we go in for full defensive lineup, Clay is still one of those guys who's there.
This is the thing with Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson.
Dude, I mean, Klay Thompson shot efficient, bro.
He's
damn, Jordan Poole did too.
Let's not get it twisted here, okay? Klay Thompson, he got an A+ 3-pointer. Jordan Poole got an A. If Klay Thompson A+, he got an A. Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole mobility, who can move better. I'm definitely taking Jordan Poole.
Poole's a better finisher. I still get Klay the mid-range, but
handles,
Poole
being like
So
being able to take over a game.
I'm just not ready to say it because I know that in the big games, I've seen Klay Thompson come through. And Klay Thompson's obviously getting right back into form of where he was. He's playing 37 minutes. He played the most minutes last game. 10 of 18 shooting, 26 points. Poole had 27 but that's the thing, 9 of 13 shooting. And then Steph Curry, 9 of 17, 27 points.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say it. Jordan Poole is the second best player on this team. I just hope that he don't get a little upset about this. Because I wouldn't like coming off the bench if I'm the second
Well,
best
he's
player.
not right now, actually.
He does sometimes.
He does sometimes. And I do wonder if the Warriors are going to, at some point, feel like, okay, let's put Curry back in the starting spot and start him in these games and then have Poole. But I like what they're doing right now. I'm almost at a point right now where I'm thinking, you almost want to do this because you don't want to break the rhythm that it seems like this is giving Jordan Poole.
Just do it for the rest of the series. Yeah.
Not even the series, man. If this is working, why not put him into the next round a little bit? Of course, next round goes into matchups. You know, all of a sudden, you know, with a different matchup, maybe Jonathan Kuminga gets a little more time.
Yeah, you ain't gonna win.
You know,
I don't know if I want
because Kuminga's been nice. You know, so like it depends. It's all matchup based. Yeah. Everything is.
The Warriors do have a lot of depth on this team.
Yes.
Though. As you continue looking, Iguodala is someone that people forget that is on this team.
Yeah.
And he's a great playoff performer.
Yeah, great playoff performer. Such a good defender as well. So again, you have the defense from Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and Andre Iguodala right there. That's your big three. Then you have your scoring from Thompson, Poole, and Curry. Not to mention the supporting cast of just everyone. Gary Payton shot 4 for 4 last game. You know, you have efficient scoring all over the board. This is what I expected. A little more even, of course, as I stated. But Jordan Poole, again, now making an argument to be that number 2 option. Steph Curry, playing like Steph Curry. He's definitely getting into rhythm since that injury. Klay Thompson is looking back in form. Remember we were talking about it at a little point. He's like,
he was looking a little sus.
Yeah, but you have to expect that when you out for two full seasons, you know.
Yeah.
And now Klay Thompson's looking like he's back as well. This team right now looks like the best in the playoffs. Truthfully,
the way that they're handling the Nuggets right now, they're very scary.
A team that should be outsizing them right now.
Now, the thing I will say is that if Jamal Murray was on the Nuggets, I think this would be a lot different of a series.
But how different?
I think that the Nuggets at least would have a game at this point.
Okay.
They would at least have a game.
Yeah, 2-1. I can expect that.
At least.
I could see this series going to 6.
6.
If they had Jamal. But then also if they had Jamal, there's another statement that could go with this in the first place, and it's the fact that the Nuggets wouldn't be in this situation.
They wouldn't have to play
the Warriors in the first round.
Yeah.
They'd probably either be a 4 or a 5. You know, they'd be a step up, you know.
Injuries happen, though.
It happens. And Jamal Murray, that ACL injury is looking a lot more serious as it's been about a year now. ACL recovery should be 9 months. So there's obviously a little more to that. Now, Memphis and Minnesota.
This is the second best series.
Yeah, that's Trevor stated. And I'm kind of scared for Memphis because even though they won that last game, I don't like how Minnesota is fighting them so well.
I don't like it either.
They had a 25-point lead. Minnesota should have won that game, truthfully.
They had 2 25-point
Yeah, 2. They had 2 times to do that.
And then on top of that, you let them come all the way back.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even close at the end. It was like 10 points that they won by.
Disappointment from Minnesota. But there's just, it's concerning that Memphis is kind of in a struggle with them, especially because you're a 2 seed and you have been dominating all season long.
Everybody.
You really have. Even the Warriors have struggled with you.
Yeah, and the Timberwolves are a squad that, yes, they have Karl Anthony Towns.
They have a solid
Anthony
3.
Edwards.
And they have D'Angelo Russell.
But Anthony Edwards is really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really young. And he's emerged as not yet a star, but he's close to a star.
He's going to be a star next year.
Karl Anthony Towns.
He hasn't been playing this series. I want to defend him so bad, but he has not performed this year.
I think he scored 8 points last game.
Yeah. On like 3 or 4 shooting.
How are
you only taking 4 attempts?
How are you struggling with this? How are you? D'Angelo Russell, he's not even an all-star.
No.
He's not all-star. So there's no way that you're just losing to Anthony Edwards, who's not even a star yet. There's no reason why any of this should be happening.
Truthfully, like on paper, it looks like, oh, well, maybe Minnesota does have like a big three, you know, but it's, you know, let's relax. You know, D'Angelo Russell averages 14 a game. He's not the same D'Angelo Russell that he was in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
He's solid. He's a solid addition. Patrick Beverley should not be mentioned, really. He's just a guy who tries
And he gets
extra
like
hard.
6 fouls a game.
Yeah. But props to Beverley. He's probably one of the hardest working players in this league because he needs to work hard. The disappointment here for Minnesota is Karl Anthony Towns averaging 17 a game.
And that's your number 1 player.
That's supposed to be your number 1 player. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be top 3 center in the league.
Face of the franchise as well.
And that's not good for the Timberwolves. But on the other hand, it's just concerning a little bit for Memphis. I still think they're going to pull this series out. I just don't like the way that Minnesota's been giving them games here and there, especially taking that first one in Memphis. But we'll see. I expect Memphis to come out through that series. Again, so now, if we just talk about like how we think things are going to play out because of how we see it, I'm definitely concerned for Phoenix. Because even if they get past this series, right after that is Dallas. A much better team.
Or the Jazz.
Or the Jazz, if somehow they pull it out. It's a much better team. And now, you still don't have Booker.
You're not going to have Booker at least for the beginning of the series. There's a chance he comes back at the end.
When you're a 1 seed, you can survive a big-time injury against the first-round team. It's still the 8th seed. But you can't afford it come the next rounds, because now you're going against teams that are battle-tested. So that's going to get interesting. On the other end, I imagine you're surprised how good Miami's handling.
I'm going to be honest right here. I thought that the Hawks, last year, they were the surprise team. So I'm thinking, okay, Hawks going to come in. I think they got a chance to beat the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Heat have struggled during the season.
Yeah.
At certain points, they were struggling.
Here's the thing. They're a 1 seed with 29 losses, which is the same as the Warriors who are sitting at a 3 seed. You know, it's the Eastern Conference. But that's because the Eastern Conference is so battle-tested.
Yeah, they're all kind of even.
Exactly. They haven't stood out as like the Suns did as a 1 seed.
No, yeah. There's nobody that's really at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing that's been happening in this series, Jimmy Butler is stepping up.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Butler. Okay, I always said this. Jimmy Butler,
You've been a hater on him.
he plays good defense. He gives a lot of effort. He scored 41. 41?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'll admit this. I'm sorry.
I think you guys forget that he was an MVP candidate early in the season too. Like he was playing nice. Jimmy Butler's issue is injuries, but besides that, he's actually a very solid mid-range to finishing scorer right there.
He was shooting the 3 in that game too.
And he was shooting the 3 in that game. That's dangerous if you can get consistency with that. But either way, great defender as well. I'm not too much surprised by this, but I imagine it surprised you. And again, the Hawks have been dealing with injuries all season. They never had their full team there. That's why they're kind of in this position in the first place. You know, it's tough. It's tough when you still don't have your full set of guys and some of your other guys are just barely coming back and you have to play the top team in the East on record.
I still, at the same time, think that this brings me back to I never thought that the Hawks were that good. It's just last season, for some reason, they did surprisingly well.
You just have that same expectation.
So now I changed my expectations, and now they're showing me who they really are.
Yeah. And the Heat are showing who they really are too, showing that they deserve that 1 seed right now. Phoenix and Toronto. I mean, Philly and Toronto. We don't have to mention this. We knew. We kind of even mentioned already.
Man.
It's just a team of supporting guest players going against a duo that's working extremely well in Joel Embiid and James Harden.
And Tyrese
Maxey, they're finding a third guy right there with Maxey.
He scored 38. And
he's young.
He's the biggest reason why I think they're handling the Raptors.
Yeah.
And they did go to overtime, where Embiid hit an amazing shot, game-winning shot.
Mm-hmm.
But even though they went to overtime, they were down by almost 20 and came all the way back.
It looks, you know what it looks like? I don't know if you see it the way I see it, but like in games of basketball, when the favorite team usually wins those first 2 games, isn't it weird how it seems like in game 3 it's always a blowout for the away or for the home team?
Mm-hmm.
Like that team that's already down 2-0, they come out in game 3 and they usually get them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's a common occurrence.
No.
it was looking like that game. Oh, Philly didn't come out fully prepared for
this
Toronto.
Be easy.
Toronto's energy coming back into their arena, and that's a hard arena to play in. That's a really hype crowd that they have there. So they weren't getting ready for that. Then they still mounted back. They brought it into overtime.
Somebody bring the brooms out, man.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention for Philly. So you said Tyrese Maxey definitely needs mention because he's averaging 26 a game right now. Only one behind Joel Embiid, averaging 27. Tobias Harris, cool 19 actually, which is kind of what you need.
He actually stepped up.
That's what you need from Tobias to be that next option. I want to talk about James Harden.
Yeah,
No, actually. This is what I want from Harden. It's when he doesn't become that guy who relies on his free throw shots and just throwing up shots at random moments. I thought he found his rhythm when he was in Brooklyn, and he's finding it here in Philly. I think he's so much better of a facilitator.
Yeah, when he's just a point guard.
When he's just a point guard. When he's a point guard, I think he is so much better. He's averaging 10 assists a game right now. He's only averaging 18 points per game, but it's efficient. It's efficient. He wasn't that much of an efficient shooter when he's a high scorer. This is so much better for him, and it's better for the team when he kind of takes a step back and he settle down and go into that facilitator role.
Do some yoga.
So much better, and I think that's what's working for the Sixers. Now Milwaukee and Chicago, DeMar DeRozan we already mentioned.
This is actually, surprisingly, I thought that the Milwaukee Bucks were gonna easily walk through a little bit, then maybe have some challenges at the end. Mm-hmm. But the Bulls shocked me a little bit. DeMar DeRozan said, you know what? I should have been in this MVP finalist. Mm-hmm. They want to give it to somebody else, but I should have been in there. Yeah. Put the team on his back. His back is definitely hurting right now. He needs a massage. Yeah. 41 points.
That's crazy.
Then hits the shot at the end that helps them win the game.
Yeah. And there's the concern from Milwaukee. This is where the series can get interesting. Chris Middleton sprained MCL. Could be out for a couple weeks. Similar to Devin Booker. Here's the difference, though. It's not like losing Booker because you still have Giannis. Do I think this makes the series interesting? Definitely. Drew Holiday needs to not only step up now as a defender, but as a scorer as well. Yeah. And you need the other supporting cast players to, step up in that moment. Be a next option scorer, to be a shooter, because that's what Middleton brings. He brings that shooter, that extra outside shooter that they need to kind of spread out the floor. It gets interesting, but I think I still have Milwaukee winning this series. The more home games.
Draw.
I know what you're going to say right now because you're doing it already. Don't say it.
Draw.
Don't say it. Do you forget what Chicago has done all regular season just because they win one game? Don't do it. Say it. Go ahead. Say it. Just go ahead. Because
the Bulls are winning the series.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
You think Chris Middleton makes that?
I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. Chris Middleton, yes, he's the second best scorer. And Giannis, who's to most people the best player in the league right now, should be able to backpack this team. Middleton also plays defense. Plays a lot of defense. And he's probably top 3 best wing defenders. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to have a little bit of struggle. This is going to be a great series, though, from this point on, because of how much Giannis is going to have to put on the line. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to go to a Game 7.
And you think Chicago in Milwaukee is going to win?
Yeah.
Crazy. Tripping. Next one. Now, this is the best series. I know it doesn't look like that right now, currently on paper.
Not on paper.
But it is truly, I think, the best matchup. You don't get this often with a 2 and a 7, where the 7 seed could arguably be just as good or better than the 2.
I forgot. I got some things to say about this series.
Go ahead.
I got some things to say, guys.
Start off.
I'm gonna just let this be known right now. I want the same energy. The same energy. You guys know who my favorite player is. Who's my favorite player in the league?
Well, John Morant.
LeBron James. And you remember when he played against the Mavericks, had a bad series. Everybody always brings this up.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody brings it up all the time. Kevin Durant
Yeah.
is literally the reason why the Nets are losing. If the Nets do not win this series and they lose, I want at least people to give him the same energy that you give LeBron. Because KD is struggling. He's getting locked up. This is the best scorer of all time. He's getting locked up.
He is. So he had 23 in that first game, and then in the second game, I believe, 27. But it's not about the points. Because if you want to see the field goal percentage, it is, wow. It is the worst that I've seen from Kevin Durant ever, probably. 4 of 17 in game 2.
4 of 17.
4 of 17. I don't even want to do the math on that. 9 of 24. Just so you know, 9 of 18 is 50%.
That's 6 more shots. So it's definitely like in the 30s.
I'm going to do the math on that.
He's shooting about something around 35%.
So he shot 37% in game 1. I can only imagine what that percentage is.
4 for 17?
Is that that's what I said, right?
That's about 38, I would assume.
Stupid calculating. 23%.
23?
23%. So he's averaging probably like 30. Probably dead 30 right now. That's horrible. That's awful.
That's literally like you need to stop shooting
For the
ball.
greatest scorer of all time, that's bad. That's awful. And the thing is, too, so credit to Boston's defense.
They are the best defensive team so far.
Yeah, they've been listed as that. So they're showing it right now with the way they guarded Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving's still getting his now and then. Although last game he was not as prominent as he was in game 1. He came out in game 1 firing. It was crazy. And then also I want to talk about the fact that this. So if you're not going to score as well offensively, which is what Brooklyn's all about,
play defense.
and they're not. Because Brooklyn has not been known to be a good defense.
Watch the last play when Jason Tatum gets that game-winning layup. Kyrie and KD are right here, and they just watch him.
No, it's a very lazy defense.
They literally just watched him catch the ball, and lay it up.
No, it's so crazy how it's all devoted to offense.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
It's so little to defense.
I just want the same energy, guys. I've lived with this for so long.
Okay, respect.
KD gotta get the punishment.
I respect that. Now, how do you see this series ending? I'll say off the beat right now. Boston in 6. And that's kind of being a little favorable right now.
I'm
in a
gonna
sense.
say Boston in 5
You're gonna say Boston in 5
because it's literally the Celtics are not they were down by 18, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Came all the way back. And it was literally, there was like 3 minutes left. They were down by 17. They brought it all the way down to 8 in that little bit of time because they go on huge runs.
It's just straight cold for Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a comeback that even Brooklyn was trying to fight against. It was just
Rumble on Kyrie, man.
nothing they could do. So that's kind of interesting too. But you know what? We're gonna have to just wait and see how this all plays out.